Hey, and good morning. I just woke up. I've got my coffee, and today we are doing a super simple line drawing exercise that will make your circles, your ellipses, and basically all your drawings feel way more confident. You can do this in Photoshop, Procreate, Krita, Midpoint, literally any software that has straight line tool or a ruler. To keep things simple, I'll just use my paint. Today I'm not in the mood to stress about canvas setup and brush tweaking headaches, to be honest. I just want to grab my pen, my ruler, and just point and sketch. Not to mention that real life HB and paper feel is the big bonus here. It's up to you. Either way, think of this exercise like a 5-minute warm up for your hand before you start real drawing. So, what is this about? You might wonder, why the heck bother with it to begin with? Well, it's a little game that trains three big fundamentals. 1. Your sense of proportion and distance. 2. Your hand-eye coordination for line control and circle drawing. 3. Your ability to self-evaluate without beating yourself up, just like a friendly teacher grading your work. If you do it consistently, you'll see in a week how your accuracy jumped from close enough to hooray, I actually aced that midpoint. With that said, open your painting app and grab something that behaves like a ruler or line tool, or just draw with a ruler like me. This works on both graphics and display pen. Draw one clean, straight horizontal line across your canvas. Keep it reasonably long at first, but not too extreme. You can increase difficulty later by making it longer. Now we turn it into a little game. Mark both the beginning and ending of the line, just tiny ticks at both ends. Without measuring, take your best guess. Where is the exact middle of this line? Put a small mark where you think the midpoint is. This is where it gets fun. Hit your flip canvas shortcut, horizontal flip. Most software has this. In Photoshop you can rotate, flip the view, and in other apps like MyPaint or Krita, it's usually a single command. When you flip, you will suddenly see the line like you are looking at it in a mirror. This is when the hidden blunders become more obvious. If your midpoint feels a bit off, maybe too far left or right, nudge it slightly and flip a couple more times to double check. Don't obsess over perfection, just adjust until it looks reasonably centered. Now erase the difficulty. Take that midpoint you just placed on the left half, guess the midpoint of that half and mark it. Let's flip to check. Okay, I think it's a bit off, so let's nudge it a little bit to the left. Let's flip to check again. Not bad. Maybe just a little bit further. Okay, looking reasonable. Do the same for the other half. Guess the midpoint to your best ability and mark it there. You should end up with the line broken into 4 quarters. Again, flip the canvas a few times and see if any segment obviously looks longer or shorter. If one quarter is clearly bigger, slide the mark a little, flip and check again. We are not aiming for mathematical perfection here. The goal is training your internal measuring tape. Now it's time to put on the art teacher hat, but in a friendly way. Switch to a bright color like a red marker brush, something that stands out. Use your ruler or line tool to actually measure each segment and compare. Check how long the first quarter is. Let's say it's almost 4 units, maybe 3.95. Compare the rest of the quarters against the first one. Wherever you were off, draw a little red indication or tiny correction mark so you can see the mistake. Repeat the same for the rest. Now give yourself a score out of 10. I was a bit off here and here, but overall, pretty close. Maybe 8.5 out of 10. If your score is awful, don't worry about it. On better rounds, sooner or later, you will hit 9 or even 9.5 out of 10. Treat it like a fun self-grade, not a judgment. You're just tracking progress. Let's do a quick second round. Draw another straight line. If the first one felt too hard, make this one a bit shorter to make the exercise easier. If it felt too easy, go longer to increase the challenge. Repeat the same steps. Mark start and end. Guess the midpoint. Flip to check. Guess the midpoint of each half. Flip again, adjust. Remember, we don't want perfectionism here. Just guess it to your best ability. Confine yourself to a timer if necessary, and then stop. Then evaluate with the red marker. Okay, this time I only made one mistake, so I'm giving this run a 9.5 out of 10. But hey, I might be wrong. So you tell me if that score fair in the comments, and if you want to share your own scores and progress, come hang out in the Discord. We can trade feedback and I can help you out a bit more with your practice. Over time, you will notice shorter lines are easier to judge. Longer lines really test your sense of distance and help a lot with things like long strokes in gesture, construction, and circle ellipse drawing. Again, grade yourself. Maybe this time you are closer to 9.5 out of 10 with only one small miss. Now, here is where the real magic happens. Do this for about 5 minutes every morning with your coffee or as you warm up. Each day, write a quick score. Day 1, 7 out of 10. Day 2, 7.5 out of 10. Day 3, 8 out of 10. For example, after about a week of doing this, scores can jump from 7 to 8 out of 10 to somewhere between 8.5 and 9.5 out of 10. That might sound like small numbers, but on the canvas, the improvement is very noticeable. The point is not to hit a perfect 10 out of 10 or some magical 9.5, 7, 6, whatever. The point is that the numbers slowly climb up as your hand becomes more reliable and your eye becomes more accurate. Think of it like doing a few reps with dumbbells. You're just training the muscles, not trying to break a world record every morning. With that in mind, how this helps your circle drawing? You might be thinking, okay, but I clicked on this because of circle drawing. Well, the reason this midpoint and quarter exercise matter is circles and ellipses rely heavily on even spacing and symmetry. When you can feel halves and quarters along a straight line, you get much better at judging arcs and curves as well. So every time you draw a circle, your brain is secretly using this skill. How far is halfway? Does this side feel longer? Are these sections balanced? If you train this with a simple line game, your circles start looking cleaner, more intentional, and less wonky. With that said, here is your challenge before I let you go. For the next 7 days, open your drawing software, Photoshop, Procreate, Krita, Clip Studio, anything. I personally recommend my Paint for the best distraction-free practice. Spend just 5 minutes drawing a straight line, guessing midpoints and quarters, flipping and grading yourself out of 10. At the end of the week, look back at your scores and at the screenshots or files from day 1 vs day 7. You should see fewer red corrections, more even segments, and more confidence when you draw longer strokes and circles. If you want a follow-up video where this is applied directly to drawing circles, ellipses, and even heads and cylinder, let me know in the comments and hit like so this reaches more artists who struggle with line confidence. And remember, it's not about perfection, it's about showing up, putting on those 5 minutes, and letting the improvement sneak up on you over time. I hope you got value out of this video. I'll see you in the next lesson.